So we heard from Eva about the overall wellness. We heard Nicholas talk about the kinds of problems that Suez is tackling, from water, sanitation, air quality, and so on. Another important aspect that my next speaker would be talking about is waste management. Now, before I bring her, I just wanted to sort of share with you, some of the startling numbers. World generates about 2 billion tons of solid waste annually, and that number is expected to go up by about 70%. So that's about 3.4 billion tons in about 30 years. Statistically, by some studies, it's known that 30% of this waste is not disposed in an environmentally safe way. Now, imagine the problem that this can create from an emissions point of view. The carbon dioxide emissions, by some statistics, could be as high as about 2.6 billion tons and growing. That's a scary reality. In India, where between 2018 and 2025, we expect the solid waste generation to triple. We will need a landfill of the size of city of Bangalore, where we are, every 10 years. So, which is again scary. But there are some very interesting companies, startups, which are looking at it. Niveda, who represents TrashCon, they are working on waste management and segregation. I'd like to call her now, and she'll talk about TrashCon, and I'm assuming the robot that you guys have built for segregation of waste. So, stage is all yours. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Let me know when I can start. Yeah. So, we all know what happens to waste when it goes out of our houses. At least those of us in India and all the developing countries, we definitely see it right in front of our houses every day. So, I'm not going to go deeper into the reality, because this is the reality after all kinds of rules that have come into the picture. Trillions of dollars being spent to create awareness, trillions of our taxpayers' money being spread to create awareness, but this is the reality. Now, what is the reason why this is the reality? Is because we went a little deeper. We literally had touched waste and started, looking at what is the waste and why is this the situation. Then we realized that when you have paper, plastic, metal, glass, diaper, sanitary napkin, blood, dead rat all sticking together, you can't do anything with it. You have to dump it and eventually burn it. And this dumping and burning, how does it affect you and me? Is because it causes 22 different types of diseases, including COVID. And almost all kinds of pollution that you can possibly imagine, land, water, air, all kinds of pollution, and of course global warming to a large extent. So that is when we thought, come on, there should be some solutions, some engineering solutions that can take all of this trash and process it into something valuable. Why valuable? Because when I process it into something valuable, it does not have to go back to the landfill. So what we did was we went around the world and started looking at solutions in the West, in the US, in Europe. And what we realized was nobody can take sambar dripping waste, which is mixed with plastic cover, in any of these so-called optical sorters, vibro screens, trommels. These are so-called technologies out there. We wanted something that's robust. We wanted something that's dynamic. We wanted something that should not be touched by a human, because you and I do not want to touch our own waste. So we don't want somebody else touching the waste. So that's when, ladies and gentlemen, we came up with one of the world's first processing unit of the toughest kind of waste. We can take blind input. What I mean by that is that we are already now across 5 states. Across India, right? But we can take waste from US, Thailand, UK, Africa and give consistent results. So we created a black box that can take any kind of unknown variables and give out known variables. And this is run automatically with minimum manual intervention, and that's the beauty of it. It's a patented technology, but what happens? So what happens is that the waste that you see on the streets gets first sorted into wet and dry. The wet waste is your food waste, canteen waste, kitchen waste, which gets processed into, say, compost and gas. Now, the dry waste is majorly the plastics that we consume on a day-to-day basis. Now, what happens to this? Let's see. Now, this is the second reality that we are trying to solve. One side, we are trying to solve, waste going into such places like landfills. On the other side, there are already mountains of waste, shadowing our towns, which which I think our future generations will have to see when they are in their flying cars. So we try to come up with a solution for this. Again, we built a technology that can sort this sort of tough waste into plastics, compost, stones, and fuel. And this technology can be used for marine waste, beach waste, ocean waste, and recover plastics from it. Now, Nivita, that's great. You're recovering plastics from everywhere, but what are you doing about it? Now, that's where we hit another problem. You see, the plastics that we see in the beaches, in the oceans, in the rivers, in the streets, in the landfills, do you know what is the common point about it? It's not only plastic, it's a type of plastics that you see everywhere. This is called multi-layered packaging. You know your Kurkure, Lays, Bingo covers. It has a layer of aluminum sticking to it. Now, this is something no recycler wants. A recycler wants a PET bottle. A recycle wants your shampoo bottle. But how many times do you throw shampoo bottle outside your house? But every day you throw chips packet, every day you throw masala packets, and this is not being recycled. So that is why this is 85% of the plastics that we are sending out. MLPs, multi-layered plastics, non-recyclable plastics. So although we figured out the first bit of the solution very well, we were quite stuck at this particular part of the solution. But as it is, we wanted to solve the problem once and for all. And that is why we pushed ourselves and we created a technology. This is similar to a plywood technology, where we took all of this plastics from the oceans, rivers, streets, landfills, wherever it is, and converted it using this technology into something called wow boards. This is similar to your plyboard and your MDF that you use for your benches and desk, tables and chairs, flooring and roofing, toilets and whatnot. But it is much better. Waterproof, termite proof, soundproof, and corrosion proof. So much better material from which we made dustbins, racks, planters, and absolutely everything that you can possibly imagine. We were working with Pepsi, and this is the most beautiful part that we did. 3,000 government school kids who had never sat on bench and desk before because the government schools could not afford it. We provided benches and desks made with the same plastic waste that their house was generating. And these kids, I did not utter a word to them. I did not tell them, see, you dispose your waste properly, you manage your waste properly. But these kids got up and said, the waste that went out of my house has come back as bench and desk. You know, the moment this is in their head, that's it. No need of any awareness, waste management can be solved. So this was one of the most beautiful projects that we did. We provide toilets at 1/10 the cost of a conventional toilet. And this is something that we are working with Unilever to be placed in every slum, village, town, municipality across India. In fact, the entire recycling process is without any emissions. The best part, the boards are recyclable again and again for 13 to 15 times. So that's the beauty of the entire process. In fact, during COVID, especially during COVID, our hard work came as testimony, because while waste pickers across the world were dying, although we saluted them saying waste warriors, but they were dying because they had to touch our waste. During this time, our waste pickers, we don't call them waste pickers, we call them operators and supervisors, were risk-free because they did not have to touch waste. And that is why you can see our clients speaking how we helped them save their people during COVID. This was the most beautiful, thing that came out of our entire journey so far. In fact, we got a certificate of appreciation from one of the municipalities because we helped save literally hundreds of lives during this time. And it goes without saying that in a matter of very few months, we have created an impact of over 100 million lives. We are today processing 20,000 tons of waste per year, and we're working with some of the largest of entities like UK government, World Bank, to name a few. And some of our customers include Unilever, Pidilite, Capitaland, ONGC, Baker Hughes, several corporates and several municipalities. It can be villages, towns, municipalities across 5 states in India now. And doing so, we are solving not one, not two, but 13 out of 17 sustainability development goals of the United Nations. And why are we doing all this? We have a team. We have an excellent team of 50 of us who are all engineers, management professionals from some of stellar backgrounds, working day and night, touching wastes. Why? Because we have a dream. We have a dream. I'll come to what our dream and vision is. But during this journey, of creating an impossible solution to solve the most biggest problem that is plaguing mankind. We have been awarded by the Prime Minister and Trade Minister of Norway. We have been awarded by the Principal Scientific Advisor, by several ministers. We were awarded by the Prime Minister of India, by the United Nations Deputy Secretary General. You can see letters from some of the who's who, including the Prime Minister of India. We have been covered in 50 plus media publications in India, US, and Germany. But and again, we have won several awards which helped us during the entire process. And it goes without saying that in just 5 years, we are looking at 1/4 of India's population. But again, let me come back to the question, why is it a team of stellar individuals working day and night, touching waste, trying to solve the problem every now and then? Is because we have a dream. We have a dream that 20 years down the lane, when I'll be telling a story to my daughter saying, Beta, once upon a time there was waste. And my daughter says, Mama, what is waste? And that is our vision. And we cannot do it alone. We look forward to joining hands with you to co-create a cleaner tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Niveda, that was very impressive. It's very good to hear about the kind of work that you and of course the team at TrashCon is doing.
Thank you so much.
So look forward to interacting with you. And I know definitely have a few questions for you when we sit together at the panel. We've got one more presenter, and I think okay, we still have. I think we've got a few minutes to before we get our next presenter. But very quick questions. What kind of challenges have you faced when you've tried to sort of, because this is changing the status quo. This is not how things were. So what have been some of your challenges? Maybe if you could share some
Not
light
one,
on that.
not two. I think it were millions of challenges, right? Because the very people we were working with are waste pickers who are not really educated, and in many cases you have to work with waste. They are generally drunk. So you had to make a machine or a technology that a person who is drunk and uneducated can handle. So we took only 6 months to sort of develop the product and the prototype, but it took us 2.5 years to make it a machine that can work anywhere and everywhere with any unskilled labor. So because of which right now, the machine, irrespective of where it is, in which part of the country it is,
Right.
who is operating it, it is running continuously without
Okay.
without any damages, without any breakdowns. And that took us a lot of time. Because
Okay.
we had to tune it, we had to understand how they come from, and we were in their shoes for 2 years. We worked with them, to sort of understand this.
Yeah,
So-
because I think this is one of those things. This is not one of those, nice looking, sexy startups, but this is, on the ground, working with the rack pickers, working with the reality that's something that everybody of us faces, right?
Yeah.
I know at my place, we are told to segregate it, but then, everything is put together when it reaches just outside the gate
Correct.
in that one single truck.
Yeah.
And then it goes back. So, segregation, while each of us try to do it, I think the way that you guys have done it, I think it's fairly interesting.
Actually, in a way, it promotes segregation. If you see, I was
Right.
talking about the government school kids. Although we didn't speak a word, we didn't utter a word, the awareness in the kids sort of gave them an idea that waste is wealth. And the moment that gets into your head, you will do everything possible to sort of ensure it is disposed in the right way.
Right.
So this is work speaking for itself,
Very
not
good.
words.
No, that's really good, because another startup that we have in our fold is again looking at the sewage. Sewage is another part, which I'm sure is something which is very adjacent to what you
Correct,
guys do,
correct.
right? And how do you take sewage and actually make, and I know Tarun talks about EcoSTP and says waste to wealth, and that's
Yes,
what reminded
yes,
me
absolutely.
of him. And again, they take in the waste, the sewage, and basically through the process of biomimicry,
Correct.
which is again a very, very interesting way. They've replicated cow's stomach, the way it works, and comes on the other side the potable water, something that can be used not just for drinking but also for environment and things like those. So are we ready for the? Okay, I think we still have a couple of minutes more. Okay, what are your plans in terms of scale? How do you see yourself sort of making this not just in 5 states where you are today, or not just in the few towns that you're, but how do you take it global?
Yeah, fortunately, TrashCon, without any voluntary effort of us, we have got a huge amount of traction. All these 5 states also happened on its own, right? I mean, we did not have to go and approach these 5 states. Now, the idea is in the next 5 years, we want to handle 1/4 of India's waste, or equivalent to 1/4 of India's waste. That's 25,000 tons per day.
Right.
And the reason why we can do that is, number one, we are not dependent on human behavior. We are not dependent on, hey, you have to give me the waste in one particular way, and only if you do that will I come to your place. But we are telling that give me anything and we can create value out of it. That makes our entire proposition very highly scalable. And the only limitation is how quickly can we grow. So that's pretty much it. And now the government also is on board in several parts of in India, and we're working with corporates, government, a beautiful model.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Look forward to
Thank you so much.
our
Thank you so much.
discussing further with you. Thank you so